Hey everyone, today we're up at Pipestone Pass. This is right along the Continental Divide near Butte, Montana. We got the Surly ice cream truck today, set up single speed and 29 plus. This is a really pretty area. We did get some snow. There's more up here than I thought there was gonna be. So we're gonna see how it goes out there. I was expecting, an inch or two given how warm it was yesterday and a little bit the day before, but it's probably not gonna be that way. So let's see how it goes. Gotta cross the highway. Here we go. About a year ago, I made a video called Why You Should Ride Single Speed. And I just watched it the other day just to see, hey, what did I make a little over a year ago? And I talked about how it helps you get to get some skills to maintain momentum better and work on your cadence and things like that. But I think I missed some of the most important things. One, just being low maintenance. You can ride in bad conditions. You don't have anything to worry about. You can go on a big old ride, and all you have to carry is a quick link, because you don't have to worry about your derailleur messing up, your shifter breaking, anything like that. It's just a worry-free setup. Obviously, you're missing out on the advantages of having gears, but some people it's worth it. It's also pretty fun. I like having a bike that I can just grab and go and get out there and have fun. If you're really looking for an advantage like that, it shines in early spring or late fall when conditions are changing a lot and you might encounter some mud or snow like this. Woo, it's getting deeper. Looks like people have hiked up here in the last couple days. Another big advantage that I touched on is how when you go ride single speed, you don't have to ride that much to get a great workout. Right now I'm started my training for a 50-miler mountain bike race. I'll just call it a ride for me because I just do it for fun and to finish. But having single speed helps me to really jump start the process. I rode yesterday. It wasn't too difficult of a ride. I climbed about 500, 600 feet. I was wearing a heart rate monitor just to see. My heart rate was pretty high. I hit 176 as my max. My average was over 140. This is a great single speed trail. I'm really enjoying this. This is the Continental Divide Trail. If you're wondering, I'm intentionally gonna ride my single speed a lot more right now. This isn't the bike I'll be riding in the race. I'll be riding my Salsa Timberjack, which has a lot of gears. But right now I'm doing this to make it a little more difficult, to get my leg strength up, get my lungs strong, and keep things going. Another thing about single speed is it just makes trails more difficult. This isn't a very difficult trail. Even the grades aren't ultra steep. So in a way, you're underbiking. You're making the trail harder by taking a bike that isn't quite set up perfect for the trail. Turns this thing that would be an okay climb, an XC trail that's moderately strenuous, into something that's quite a bit more of a workout. So if you have a trail that you ride all the time and you're maybe a little bored or just looking for something to make it more difficult, try it on a single speed. Woo! Beautiful. Let's go. Come on. Attack this hill. Snow makes it more difficult. Another reason I love single speed is teaches you how to do some basic bike maintenance. You can have a shop set it up single speed, but depending on what you're riding and when, you may want to change the rear cog out to change your ratio. You don't want to take it to a shop every time, and it really doesn't take much to swap it out. So by investing in $40 in tools, you can now replace not just a single speed cog, but a cassette, a chain ring. It just opens up the bike maintenance world to you a little, which can save you some money. And it's always good to know more about what you're riding. Single speed also lets you just focus on what's happening on the trail, not as much on making sure you're in the right gear. It's one less thing to worry about. So if it's a technically demanding trail and not super hilly or strenuous, you just want to focus on your riding technique, it could help. I'm doing this as an out and back today. So right here, this is the Beaver Ponds Trail. So you can take this down, come out another area on Highway 41. Yeah, I think it's 41. This is a continuation of the Continental Divide Trail. You can tell because of the sign, but this is where I'm going to turn around and head back for the day. So let's get ready for some descent. Got worried I was gonna clip my pedal, just dig it into the snowbank on the side, and that's enough to stop you. It's like hitting a rock. A little more forgiving, but not much, still slows you down. That's where single speed is so fun. Stuff like that, where you're just trying to keep your speed up as high as possible. So you're just thinking, okay, can I pedal now? You gotta know your gear ratio fairly well to know when it's gonna be worth it to pedal, or are you just gonna be spinning out? Is it too late? Did you miss the boat? And now you're gonna be stuck grinding. Kind of just gives you a sense of accomplishment as well. If you've ridden a single speed, you know, it's not easy. I really respect people who just can ride pretty much any trail on a single speed. It is so impressive. They have to have some major lungs and some big old legs. So when you get out there and do a trail on a single speed, you'll feel like the man or the woman. Woo! A little spicy right there. I wasn't paying attention to where the trail went. And then after you do it on a single speed, you'll feel like, oh yeah, I could easily do that on a geared bike. I kind of like to think of it like hardtails. As I've said before, there's something about hardtails that's just so fun to ride. And that's exactly how I feel about single speed. It's hard to describe. It might not make sense. It's just fun, and you can't describe why. There's just pure enjoyment out of a little bit of suffering, but also a lot of fun. So if you are someone who likes a challenge, I bet you'll enjoy single speed. I think you call it type 2 fun. It's the kind where you're finding joy and fun in the pain and the suffering, and I like that. Not all the time. Sometimes I want to jump stuff and just have a really fun, fast ride, and other times the challenge is what's exciting. Woo. This is gonna be fun when it dries out. Woo! You can see how many trees fall down on this trail all the time. It's a big part of the trail work every season, cutting all the deadfall out. And I know it's a big job. There's a lot of it every year. Snow brings it down, wind brings it down. You can even smell it right there. Someone just cut that probably in the last couple weeks. If you're wondering, the gear I'm using is 32 tooth chainring and a 21 tooth cog. I feel like that's about right for this area, with a 29 plus at least. With a 29er, maybe 3220. As you increase the wheel size, you have to make the gear a little bit easier for the gear ratio, because you're turning a bigger wheel. Woo! So the standard with like a 26-inch bike was kind of 2 to 1. So a 32 tooth would have a 16 tooth cog in the back. Maybe a little bit easier, but that was the general rule of thumb. Just go to 2 to 1. But with 29ers, you're turning a bigger wheel, so that ratio isn't as effective. And it was too tall of a gear, or you'd really struggle on the uphills. The same applies for weight. So when I had the fat bike on here, I actually had a 28 tooth up front and a 21 tooth in the back, and that worked great. And because the tires were heavier, or the wheel set was heavier in general, and then in soft snow, you really wanted a low gear to be able to pedal. Otherwise, I was just gonna be walking most of the time. Well, I'm just about back to the trailhead. So I hope you enjoyed this single speed ride. Hopefully you learned something about why people ride single speed, about why you might want to, maybe even a little bit about how to set your bike up. But I really enjoy single speed. I will start riding my geared bike a little bit more as I get closer to the Butte 50, because that's the bike I'm going to be riding first of all. And you know, I'm going to be doing some really big climbs, and I'm not that hardcore of a single speeder. Here I am with my foggy glasses as usual on this cold morning, saying thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. See you next time.